Press the bell icon on the YouTube app to never miss a video from News Laundry.
Welcome to News Laundry Chhota Hafta. For the full episode, subscribe because it is behind the paywall and only subscribers get access to uncut, complete content. News Laundry Hafta is our weekly wrap of all that made the news, all that didn't, and all that should have and all that shouldn't have. We agree, we disagree, we critique, and occasionally we beat each other up. But it's all good fun. Subscribe.
This is a News Laundry podcast and you're listening to NL Hafta.
Welcome to News Laundry Hafta. I'm Abhinandan Sekhri and I'm thrilled to introduce a panel today, and we have a guest, Chetan Bhagat, well-known writer, author, columnist, motivational speaker, and very well-dressed, dapper young man sitting
and
right.
really fit, very healthy, slim.
Thank you guys. Thank you
Glowing
for having me.
cheeks.
So nice to be in News Laundry again.
Yes, very rare that superstars come to our studio, but I
please.
would introduce our usual line that I plugged Hafta with, but I will allow Chetan to do it now because he has changed the line a bit.
Why don't you say the original one first, and then I'll tell you how you can be more nationalist.
अंग्रेज अपना लगान और न्यूज लॉन्ड्री अपना हफ्ता कभी नहीं छोड़ते.
Well, please don't underestimate our tax department. So GST Council अपना GST और News Laundry अपना हफ्ता
कभी नहीं छोड़ते. Correct. लगान
that's
माफ
more
हो भी-
nationalist.
हाँ, लगान माफ हो भी जाता था लेकिन GST
लगान तो
कभी-
मैच खेल के माफ हो जाता था. GST काउंसिल वालों के साथ जितने मर्जी मैच खेल लो वो आपको देना ही पड़ेगा.
देना ही पड़ेगा.
18%, 28%.
Also on the panel, Manisha Pande,
Hello.
Madhu Trehan, Anand,
Hello.
Vardhan, who I've seen after a long time.
Where were you?
In Delhi. I was
there the last
I was
time.
in Bangalore. Remember, Madhu, we were in
Oh, yeah,
Bangalore.
we were in Bangalore.
So we have a whole bunch of stuff that we will discuss today. There are three main things that happened, or if they didn't happen, the three major talking points. One is, of course, the Farmers' March that tried to enter Delhi on the 2nd of October. And there was this huge clash on the UP-Delhi border. Then there was Justice Gogoi taking over as Chief Justice of India, and a very interesting article talking about the past judgments of Deepak Mishra, the outgoing Chief Justice. Then there was an Apple executive who was shot in UP. And while, as Anand has often said, that there's a banality of crime and murders that happen in life, this one was not just treated as another crime in UP, but it has had bigger ramifications. In fact, Abhinav Kumar, who is IG BSF Kashmir, has written a column about that today. So there was that kind of brought the whole law and order issue of UP back in the limelight. PTI sacks 297 employees. Maybe you can tell us a little more about that. And Maharashtra moves Supreme Court against Delhi High Court order releasing Gautam Lavakha from house arrest because Gautam Lavakha has been released from house arrest. Then there was Sabrimala verdict. Women joined protest against Sabrimala verdict. And the Tanushri Datta case, where now apparently Mr. Nana Patekar is going to be sending her a legal notice.
He
He's
has.
already sent her. He and Vivek Agnihotri both have sent her.
Mr. Agnihotri also sent her?
Yeah.
Where is? Oh,
Okay.
He's put it out on Twitter also, I think.
So Chetan, what issue would you
I
want
don't know
to...
how legal. Well, we can discuss it, but I don't know how legally they can do this because there's so many witnesses for both of them for what they did.
Right.
So it's going to be a hard call for them to prove that they didn't do it because in every incident, whether it's Vivek Agnihotri, there were witnesses there as well as with.
But will those witnesses speak up in court is the question.
Well,
No, they already
they're on
have.
record already.
They
in
already
Twitter.
have.
No, and anyway, this is just a legal notice, I guess. Right now, they've not gone to court.
They've sent a
Yeah.
notice. So what of these issues would you want to start with, Chetan?
I think we
Chetan?
can discuss the Apple. Oh,
The
sorry, you
Apple
want
executive? No. Okay, so two questions. A, do you find it, because I know many people have commented on this, that because an Apple executive got shot, it became national news and there were debates, whereas Neha Dikshit has done a story where there were really poor people who got encounter killing, inverted commas, and there were no primetime debates around that. Is that problematic or is that an obvious outcome of a market-driven news culture?
Yeah, that always happens. It's market. The consumer of news is the middle class, upper middle classes, right? They are the ones who buy the instant noodles that fund the ads or Patanjali toothpaste or whatever the latest lovely universities. These are the ones who often sponsor a news program. So the consumers of these, when they feel people like us
Can be shot.
can be shot out of the blue, right? It becomes a big deal. It is also the age of virality on the internet. So sometimes you just can't predict which it could still have been buried, but it didn't. Maybe it came in a slow news week or whatever. It also played into the perception that UP is becoming more lawless. And even Apple executives, you never expect an Apple executive to be shot.
Are you from UP originally? Where are you
no,
from?
No, I'm not.
Punjab.
But I'm from Punjab, Delhi, whatever.
Okay.
So I think the fact that he was from a multinational like Apple, which is one of the most valuable companies in the world, and like obviously you don't get a job that easily at Apple, and you were just driving and somebody shot at you. I think that does make you want to click the news more. I think. Sure. What do you think, Manisha?
There was a murder behind my house, 2-3 streets down in the market. And this 40-year-old man was sitting with his little kids and who were playing on the street. And a guy who apparently comes from the Basti behind, which is of Bangladeshi immigrants. He runs this sells smack and other drugs and everything. And he drove his car really fast close to the kids. So the father told him, don't drive so fast. He pulled out his gun and shot him right there.
Oh dear God.
So,
but one didn't even hear about this.
But the police who have been paid off by this guy because he's doing all his dhanda, police did nothing because they've been paid off already to allow him to do his dhanda, and he controls the whole Bangladeshi basti. Everybody, he's like the lord over there.
Can we do a story on this?
Islam Lord, I think we should. And then the thing was that because it's part of the panchayat village, is that area. So the panchayats got together and start making demands, and they did dharnas. The women sat on the street, and all that is happening now. But I don't think the police have taken any action yet. That guy, everyone saw him shoot him.
But yeah, that's the thing. I mean,
whenever someone aspirational is affected by a crime, I think it gets more traction.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that you also saw in the gang rape of Jyoti Pande, where she was, because she was just like us, going to a movie,
PVR,
with her friend late at night. And I think in Tiwari's case also, just being in Gomti Nagar, prime place in Lucknow, driving, coming back from his office, I think, and he was with his colleague, and just being shot. I mean, there is a resonance that, oh shit, this could happen to me too.
It was a product launch.
But Uttar Pradesh has had 21, Indian Express had done a story back in August of copycat encounters where 21 deaths and 20 similar FIRs. They were all copycat FIRs.
That's Neha's story, isn't it?
Yeah, Neha also then later...
I mean, many of the FIRs have exactly verbatim the same thing happened to
and again, they are mostly Muslims and Dalits, so this does not make news, but something like...
And he was, I think they also played up, if I'm not wrong, his Hindu religion was played up a lot by the opposition and even Kejriwal, right?
Yeah. Kejriwal said that Yogi doesn't even care about Hindus.
Our Chief Justices changed. And there's a very interesting article on money control, I think it is, as the Chief Justice of India. So it kind of gives you all his major judgments, including the one that he said that you don't have to thrust nationalism down people's throat, better than to stand for the national anthem.
And his writing is something that will go down in history to journalism and lawyers, that this is how not to write.
It's a bit over, na?
There are crimes against the body of a woman which is her own temple. There are offences which suffocate the breath of life and sully the reputation, and reputation, needless to emphasize, is the richest jewel one can conceive of in life.
So I will say that, this whole Chief Justice debate, and in a day and age of black and white, people say that, oh, so you like this judgment, don't like that judgment. Oh, now he's become a liberal hero, now he's not a liberal hero. The thing is, every Chief Justice in the country, Madhu, correct me if I'm wrong, at least for the last 4 or 5 that I remember, from Mr. Keher to Justice Sabharwal, on the one hand, they had a reputation for some outstanding integrity judgments they'd passed, some amazing stuff. At the same time, the same Chief Justices, Sabharwal had a cover story done on him. Of course, the Helka was, hauled up for that. They were also known for one major scandal that happened. And that's true across Chief Justices.
I think what I have observed is that all the justices, all the judges are honest. Not all, but the ones who are honest and known to be honest. Towards the end of their career, there seems to be one compromising judgment. Talk about Pathak, Union Carbide versus Bhopal. He let Union Carbide get away with everything. No compensation from Union Carbide. Warren Anderson was allowed to go free. No deportation, nothing was served to him as far as I know. And then he gets appointed to The Hague.
Yeah. I think that's not just for judges. I
retirement.
think this is true for many bureaucrats also, who are known throughout their lives for amazing integrity and uncompromising. And क्योंकि एक तो retirement plan भी तो होना होता है ना.
And their salaries are really abysmal in today's climate.
Yeah, that's true.
In today's economy, they really don't. And the honest judges that I have been to their houses after they have retired, they live in the smallest, tiniest homes. Extreme simplicity because they have been honest. Can I just read one line from Deepak Mishra's one of his judgments on the Nirbhaya rape and death case?
Yeah, I was reading that.
It is manifest that the wanton lust, the civility to absolutely unchained carnal desire, and slavery to the loathsome bestiality, I think he means bestiality, but he's written bestiality, of passion, rule the mindset of the appellants to commit a crime which can summon with immediacy tsunami of shock in the mind of the collective and destroy the civilized marrows of the milieu in entirety.
My God.
Marrows of the milieu.
This whole thing of, writing a judgment, landmark judgment, the rest of the film wasn't that great, but this one aspect was very interesting in this film called Something Hazir Ho. It's a Netflix film. Can someone tell me something Seth Hazir Ho? We've reviewed it on Awful and Awesome, where this district court judge wants to write a landmark judgment, and he's like dying to write it, so he's Google stuff, and they want to outdo each other in literature. But Anand, your views on this, on this whole people claiming this judge as a conservative, as a liberal, is it like a fool's errand? It's a pointless thing to do?
No, see, pomposity in judicial prose. So judiciary has its own kind of prose. Pomposity generally comes, and this is a kind of prose that clerks of East India Company, the first generation clerks of East India Company wrote because they were in awe of English language and big words. So now someone for whom English has been an acquired language after, say, in their youth, they write this kind of language. I have seen even say low police officers, like sub-inspectors write like this because they think that they gain some kind of heft with it. So judges, he is of course on the highest judicial post, but that is ingrained anyway. That is a different thing. Now second is there is a difference between judicial statesmanship and judicial discipline. I think remembering judges has been, apart from 1973 Keshav Bharti case and some public interest litigation and this. Palkiwala was a lawyer. So
No, the litigation talking about
No, but a lot of his Palkiwala is quoted a lot in his.
He was a jurist and lawyer. I am talking about judges. So the legacy of it has been a recent phenomenon, judging them, their legacy. This man would more be, I think, for his thick skin and fortitude, I would remember him, because amid a lot of allegations, a lot of insinuations, he carried on with the judicial business. A lesser or a mortal would have cracked up. But either he was very thick-skinned or had a lot of fortitude in his character. Besides the merit of his judicial pronouncements, I think that is the legacy that people should remember him for the personal traits.
Now, I'd just like to move on to the farmers' protest that happened here in Delhi. On context, on Gandhi Jayanti, depending on whose numbers you believe, NDTV says 50,000, some people say 20,000, but more numbers than the amount of people who were sitting at Anna's protest for the Jan Lokpal movement. Several times more were trying to enter Delhi. Led by Tiket, who's the son of Mahendra Singh Tiket. I remember Mahendra Singh Tiket's story because that is when I just started following the news. I was still young, I think I was in school, but
Manoj interviewed him.
Now, I was fascinated by that Mahendra Singh Tiket. I saw that on Newstrack on the tape. And I'll never forget, when he came for the rally, it kind of backfired. So the cartoon that India Today had was Mahendra Singh Tiket as a bull, coming to Delhi as a tree, hammering it with his horns, and then pulling back, and his horns remaining in the tree, and he's hornless now. So basically disempowered him, that rally, rather than making him
Really?
this force to reckon with. Apparently, I didn't know politics well enough that time to really understand whether that is true or not. But do you think something of this size, is it just news fatigue? Because I was just thinking, I was telling Raman so this, although Raman said it got coverage in the morning, but once Modi started speaking, then kind of everyone cut to Modi's speech. And he was the only one who wasn't showing Modi's speech because they had a program on Swachh Bharat by Dettol.
So is the Prime Minister congratulated them? I'm really
I think the
amazed.
thaw is complete between NTV and the PM.
I don't know
And
about that.
Amitabh Bachchan was sitting there. And so on that day, maybe 5-8 years ago, when reality television was still popular as a new thing in news, a rally this size would have got wall-to-wall coverage.
You know, the Indian Express had the most wonderful journalism on this. And I think a large part of it, of course, the television journalists missed it completely, but and the print did also. But they had this wonderful article on how the majority of the police who were preventing the farmers from coming in were from the same villages. In fact, many of them had their fathers and uncles and
I saw
cousins.
that story. Really nice one.
In the protest march, and they were the ones who had to put the water cannons and the tear gas and all that. That was a remarkably good journalism. Secondly, I cannot fathom why, and it happened in the Nirbhaya protests also. Why does the government presume that they have to stop them? After all, in Maharashtra, they walked, and they walked peacefully through Mumbai with residents of Mumbai coming out and giving them food, water,
But I don't think it was to do with any fear of violence. I think it was
Why
just
did they stop them?
because if they come and यहाँ पर एक बार suppose they jama karo at India Gate or at any such place, then it becomes a television spectacle. Then it goes out of control. Then it becomes the biggest thing, because then for news channels they just bloody park Obi-Wan there. They have 24-hour coverage. They have
No, but a peaceful protest where there's no confrontation between the police and the protesters.
No, I don't think they feared. Madhu, I don't think the police feared any violence. It was they just did not want it to become like what OROP had become, one pension protest.
Which you
with
saw that guy with the tractor
reversing it in, yeah.
and trying to break down the barricades.
No, but you know what?
Amazing footage and water cannon straight on his face.
Yeah, but you know what you're talking about. When I was sitting at the Jan Lokpal protest and there were cops there, I remember one of the cops came to me and said, and at that time there was this whole thing, Chidambaram. We were told that Chidambaram is really pissed off. He's saying, get these guys out of here, lathi charge kar do ye wo. And he came to us and said, and we were worried because they were old people, they were women, they were children. So one of the cops said, आप फिक्र मत करो, हमारे बच्चे भी वहाँ बैठे हैं, हम भी चाहते हैं करप्शन ख़त्म हो, हम लाठी चार्ज नहीं करेंगे. I was blown away because you know my view of cops. And then I remember when I went to Ralegaon Siddhi, because after there was this meeting that happened there, the cops, the CISF, the Central Industrial whatever who are the security forces, when they frisked you, and that time I was Sohail Seth 2.0 ना, I was अन्ना का Sohail Seth, on every channel. अंग्रेजी में 4-5 लोग बात कर सकते, जाओ पेल दे कुछ, मतलब पता है नहीं, ठीक है, spokesperson बन के जन लोकपाल movement. So when I entered the airport exit, the cops saw me. They said, छोड़ना मत इन कमीनों को, हम आपके साथ हैं. So there were some cops who were sick of politicians' corruption. They wanted some, but I think the problem is that the lower down guys are just cogs in the wheel. It is the higher level cops.
Also, it shows that, in some sense, sometimes the top guys can give orders, but unless the people who are going to implement them believe in it, very often they do not carry out the orders fully. They'll do it as a cover up, and that happens many times. I was on a flight, and the plane landed, somebody came to me and said, you are not to walk around, you're marked as SSS, special security, so a car's going to come and pick you up right now. You will go in the car and they'll take you to the special security hangar, which is an American hangar. This was at Frankfurt Airport where I was changing planes. So you will be checked over there. So I was like, God, what are they going to do now? So my name is Khan Story. So I went along. But when I got there, all the security people were blacks, Latinos, Puerto Ricans. and they treated me like, oh, let's help this little old lady. They did not harass me at all. They said, don't worry about it. They just waved me through everything. And then the same thing when I landed in America at the customs, usually it takes a long time with lines and everything. These guys were not even looking. They're not even looking at your visa. They just stamp go in. It was like they actually were doing an objection to Trump's immigration policies, that they were not going. Yeah, they were pushing back.
All of you listening in, the Chhota Hafta, do subscribe so you can listen to the entire Hafta. We will see you again next week with the Hafta. Till then, subscribe, pay to keep news free, because when the public pays, the public is served. When advertisers pay, advertisers are served. Thank you. Goodbye.
All the News Laundry podcasts are available on Stitcher, iTunes, and any other podcast platform.
Please subscribe to News Laundry. Help us keep news independent. To catch all our podcasts on news, pop culture, current affairs and sport, visit newslaundry.com. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Sun liya Afrika, mufat khoron. Not to brag or anything, but News Laundry Hafta features in the top 50 in the world on SoundCloud in the news and politics category for podcasts. So do subscribe and see what you're missing, because when the public pays, the public is served. When advertisers pay, advertisers are served. Subscribe, help keep news independent and free. All News Laundry podcasts are available on iTunes and Stitcher and any other podcast platform.